On December 18th, 2021, Paul Maurice had stepped down from the Winnipeg Jets. Paul decided to step down because he felt that there needed to be a new voice of the Winnipeg Jets. For many, including myself, would think that it was time for Paul Maurice to go, maybe even a little bit too late. Many fans wanted Paul Maurice gone because of his stubbornness with the lineup. Paul Maurice would repeatedly try to play the veterans as much as he could and the players that had been on the team for years and years, and effectively wasting a lot of the youth. But now with Paul gone, Dave Lowry steps in, and maybe we'd get something different from Dave. I was excited when Dave Lowry got named that interim coach, not so much because he was the interim coach, but because Charlie Huddy wasn't. Charlie Huddy has been the Jets defense coach for gotta be 11 years now since the Jets came back, and he's really honestly one of the worst coaches in the league. I don't know how he didn't go with Paul Maurice. I think if it was a firing situation, he would have, but the Jets are so loyal to a fault that Charlie Huddy is still there when he really shouldn't be. And this is a theme that's continued on with the Jets, not even just with the coaching, but with the players, as I'll get to later. But hey, maybe Dave Lowry would come in and he changed things up. When Paul Maurice resigned, the first thing that I thought of was how happy Ville Heinola must be. Ville Heinola is arguably one of the best defensive prospects in the NHL right now and has been looking for an opportunity to come in and be a full-time NHL defenseman. Ville hasn't been given the opportunity yet to that point in the season when Paul Maurice resigned, playing behind guys like Logan Stanley and Nathan Beaulieu. Logan Stanley and Nathan Beaulieu are not better defensemen than Ville Heinola, but Paul would keep playing these defensemen over Ville Heinola anyway, just because of their size and because he values his veterans so much. But Paul Maurice is gone now, and Dave Lowry is the head coach, so now where does that leave us? I think it left the fans with a little bit of optimism that maybe things would change, and Dave Lowry was even quoted saying, "I think the biggest thing with the guys on the Moose is that they know there is an opportunity." Previously, there was no opportunity with Paul Maurice if you were on the Moose. He liked his veterans, and if you were in the AHL, you likely were staying there for the rest of the year unless there was a massive amount of injuries. And we did get to see guys get their opportunity. We got to see Christian Reichel make his NHL debut, score his first NHL goal. We got to see Austin Pagansky. We got to see Dylan Sandberg, who looked especially ready for the NHL. And we got to see Declan Chisholm, who looked incredible on defense. Now, the Jets had some defensive consistency in those games when those two defensemen played. And going back to that quote that Dave Lowry had said about everybody on the Moose getting a chance, I really thought it was Ville Heinola's time to get a chance, because Logan Stanley has struggled this year. Nathan Beaulieu has struggled arguably even more. And now you're looking at your number one defense prospect probably getting a shot. He was in COVID protocol, so that's why he didn't get a chance when Sandberg and Chisholm came in. But now is your chance to really give him a shot. And to back up my statement about Logan Stanley not being a very good defenseman, I'm going to just show you this chart real quick here. This was a game against Washington where he had arguably his worst game in the NHL by far. He looked completely out of place. He looked awful. And honestly, this chart doesn't do it justice how terrible he looked in that game. He had one nice long lead pass to Cole Perfetti, or to Kyle Connor, leading to Cole Perfetti's first NHL goal, but that was about it. Logan Stanley is a massive liability on defense. He's very slow. He doesn't really have that high hockey IQ. He's just not making good decisions out there. He constantly ices the puck, and all he really does is shoot. And it's just infuriating seeing a guy like this in the top six for the Jets, top six defense core, when you've got a guy like Ville Heinola who could genuinely be a star, or at the very least a very solid NHL defenseman, a very good puck-moving defenseman, which the Jets desperately need. And you look at this chart for so far in the season, zone entry defense, if you look at the top, you see Boston, you see Colorado, but if you look way at the bottom, beneath everybody else, it's the Winnipeg Jets. And Ville Heinola would help so much with this. It's incredible. I'm not saying he would absolutely change the complexion of the Jets, but he would definitely be an upgrade over Logan Stanley or Nathan Beaulieu. So far in the AHL season, Ville Heinola has played 24 games and he has 2 goals and 14 assists. And I don't know how much longer the Jets can keep him in the AHL. Ville Heinola is young, he's only 20 years old, but the thing is that the Jets just really seem to be keen on really trying to keep him in the AHL as long as they can, and they don't really seem to want to play him. He's been one of the best defensemen in the AHL. He's exceeded at every single level he's played at. Why wouldn't he exceed at the NHL level? And we'll never really know because he really hasn't been given a shot. When he was 18, like fresh out of the draft, he played, I believe it was 7 or 8 games with the Jets. And he looked incredible. I mean, he had a goal and I believe 4 or 5 assists. And he looked fine, but he did make some mistakes. He was an 18-year-old undersized defenseman, and he went back to Finland. He had a great year there. And then, you know, he went to Manitoba. He played great there. He's still playing great there, but he's just kind of stuck right now. And there was a lot of wasted development in the 2020-2021 season when Ville was in the press box on the taxi squad for over a month and didn't play any hockey at that point. And it was just really bad asset management by the Jets. And I just don't really understand what they want Ville Heinola to do. I don't know if they're giving up on him because the Jets want this big, tough D-core filled with 6'5" giants. Like, I just don't know what they want Ville Heinola to do. And if I'm Ville, I'm very upset right now that I'm playing at this high of a level at the AHL. I've shown that I can do it in the NHL too. And you still don't give me the shot to do that. I would just be incredibly mad. I just don't understand it. The Jets are going to need to play this guy if they want to be successful. You're not going to win games consistently with Logan Stanley. Logan Stanley is a liability, and you need smart defensemen in the NHL the way it is now. You don't have to be 6'7", 6'8". I just don't understand it. Nate Schmidt is being dragged down with this as well. He's been newly partnered with Logan Stanley since Stanley came back from COVID. And I don't know, he's just trying to cover for Stanley. It reminds me a lot of when Josh Morrissey and Tucker Poolman played together for last season. And Tucker Poolman was god-awful, always out of position. And Josh Morrissey's numbers and play really suffered from that because he was constantly trying to cover for Pullman, I'd say at least 50% of the time a night, and it just really dragged him down. And I'm not trying to make it sound like Nate Schmidt is an NHL All-Star or anything like that. He's definitely not, but he is a much better defenseman when he's not around Logan Stanley. And you can look at all the defense pairs that Logan Stanley has been a part of. He's been with Brendan Dillon, he's been with Nate Schmidt, he's been with Dylan DeMello, and every single time, him and his partner's numbers look awful. He's just not a good defenseman unless he's being extremely sheltered like he was last season. So many fans love Logan Stanley, and that's great. I love Logan Stanley, the person. I think that's fine, but Logan Stanley, the hockey player, is... I feel like he's misconceived. So a lot of fans think, oh, he's 6'7", he must be a real tough guy. No, he's not. You just saw Tanner Jeannot from the Nashville Predators take him out, and Stanley had at least 6-7 inches on him. Like, I'm not saying Jeannot is not a very tough guy or anything, but I mean, if you have the reach and the size on that guy, I mean, you should be able to win a fight pretty easily, and Stanley got mopped. And that doesn't have to do with really the play or anything like that. Stanley's not very physical despite his size, and I feel like a lot of people think that, oh, again, just because you're big, you can hit, but Logan Stanley really doesn't play that game. He doesn't really bring much into any zone. He's not a puck-moving defenseman, really, or not a very good one at least. He's slow, and when he gets in the offensive zone, as soon as he's given the puck from the left corner of the blue line, just wham, right in on net, right in the goalie's crest, just killing a play, killing a cycle, anything. Logan Stanley's good for that, and that's about it. All that it's really proving is that Dave Lowry has done some good things with the Jets in his short time there, but he's really just being ignorant to the fact that you have one of the best defensive prospects in the AHL right now, currently on your taxi squad, not playing, and you're refusing to give him a shot. You're refusing to let the team be as good as they could be, and you're just letting a bad player take down the team. Yeah, but that's been my little rant on Ville Heinola not being in the Jets lineup so far at all this season. What do you guys think? Do you disagree? Do you think that Ville Heinola needs more time, needs more seasoning in the AHL? Do you like Logan Stanley? Do you think Logan Stanley should be in the Jets top 6 right now? Let me know. And yeah, so if you guys want to like, subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Trying to get the channel off the ground right now. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Have a good one.